All right. So yeah, just before you were talking about the ayahuasca, right?
No, ayahuasca.
How do you say it?
I think it's spelled ayahuasca.
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 Yeah.
Did you ever tried it?
No, I would actually never try it, to be honest,
Why?
because it's an active, I think, active ingredient in DMT, and DMT is a very strong substance, a very strong drug,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to get involved with those things.
But because ayahuasca is kind of herbs, right? It comes under the herbs.
Yeah, it's a herb, but so is cocaine. Cocaine is also a herb, but if you're not cautious, it ruins your life. It ruins families.
But like, what do you think about the psychedelics? Like, have you ever tried mushrooms?
I haven't tried mushrooms. Like, I've tried the classic weed. I was in Amsterdam, and it depends with what kind of people you surround yourself with. You can either smoke weed with an intellectual, you can smoke weed with a junkie, or you can smoke weed with good friends watching a movie and eating stuff. So it's important the circle you're in. And I wouldn't go to the Brazilian jungle and take ayahuasca and probably pass out for 2 days.
Yeah, because like there are lots of my friends like who are into psychedelics. Like if you like, you're gonna hear all kind of stories. Like, you know, there are the people who love it. Are like this. Are like it opens the consciousness.
Yeah.
Some people make these stories like that. You know, even if we talk about weed, like this, like they always like it opens the third eye. It helps to and the same with the mushrooms. Like it gonna, you see the colors like dimensions. You know, and there was one of my friend. He was much into psychedelics and like he used to use this word a lot, ayahuasca, and it's his dream to go in the Amazon and someday have a try.
Yeah, like I can understand people that say I enjoy the feeling of taking substances. It's just where do you stop? When does it become an addictive behavior, and when does it become a supportive behavior? It's the same with food, exercise, cigars, whiskey, fast food, work. Like, where do you draw the line? Because I know a lot of people, because I studied in Germany, and there's a lot of kids that take substances or abuse alcohol, and they all say at one point, I have it totally under control, and their whole life is already a mess. And when you tell them you have to smoke 3-4 joints every day, otherwise you can't sleep, you're addicted. Nah, man, it's just 3-4 joints. It's just 2-3 beers. But
in your perspective, like, what is addiction? What do you call addiction?
I think addiction is if you are fighting with the devil and the angel sitting left and right on your shoulder, and you want the devil to win, so you give him more attention rather to the angel, because you know the angel is right and the devil is wrong, and you talk yourself into it that it's okay to do what you're doing, although you know, if you're like completely honest with yourself, that it's not good for you.
All right.
That's to me where addiction starts.
Just can you put the mic a little bit closer?
Of course.
Just put it. Yeah. Just to make sure everything is going right. All right.
Yeah.
So this podcast, let's. I think it's already started. Welcome to my podcast.
Thanks, man.
This is I got a sponsor as well. Not much, but this is my sponsor, Primo Education and Visa Services. Like, do you guys like need the like counseling and like migration agent kind of thing for your visa process, or like do you do it by yourself?
I just mainly do it by myself.
Oh, all right. So,
normally all the time.
In case if you need any time, you can consider them, or you can give me a call. I'll fix him.
Yeah,
so,
or if I know someone. Because before we met, I was traveling with this Aussie woman, and we thought about partnership visa, and I started reading into it. And a lot of people said, I'll just pay an agent and they'll fix it for you. And I thought, what does the agent do that I can't do? The last time when I wrote an important letter was Maybe I shouldn't say it. It was like court involved, and
Oh.
people told me you have to get a lawyer, blah blah
Uh,
blah, and the lawyer wanted even more money, and I said
uh,
I can just write it by myself. So I
oh.
wrote it, and everything was totally fine.
Oh.
But
So.
of course, with visas, it's always
All right. Let me introduce my guest for today. Is Nissim. How do you pronounce the name? It's Gunay.
Gunay. Yeah.
Gunay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So sorry for saying this. Please don't be offended. But in our language, there is like the gu means.
What does gu mean? Hmm?
You want imagine
Gu is,
gu.
sounds a bit crazy or stupid.
It's like shit.
Shit.
Yeah.
Nah, that's fine, man. I'm fine with everything. You have
Yeah.
to.
So yeah, only gu means shit, not a gune.
Gunay means good shit then.
Yeah, it's a good shit. And Gunay is from Germany, right?
Yeah.
Germany, and he's been doing a backpack. Like, shit, man. Like, I'm a very busy guy.
Yeah.
Oh. And Binay has been doing like backpacking, right?
Yeah. Since June 2019.
Since June 2019, and he's been traveling all around Australia.
Yeah.
And so, like, what's the trend actually like behind the what's the concept like doing the backpacking? Because usually we're from Southeast Asia, right? The geographically, the socio-economically, like we didn't get the much benefits, like the European, because we do have certain, like we all have like our own identities, but if we talk about like this socio-political context as well, like you guys get like the like 1 year visa, like working visas, and you just can go and travel, but we didn't have that a lot, we didn't. The Southeast Asian regions, like they didn't consider us on that process, so
they maybe don't consider you guys as busy enough to be able to provide workforce. Too lazy.
Maybe.
There's always ups and downs.
Yeah.
I mean, you are here on a student visa.
Yeah.
You're on very high student fees.
Yeah.
And you have to work and study at the same time. But it's not all shiny with the backpacking visas as well, because like you said, you can stay here for 1 year and you can do 3 months of farm work or construction work or whatever, and then you can stay a second year. Like it all sounds great on paper, but once you get into it, you find yourself in what I call modern slavery.
Yeah.
Because what I did for my first 3 months of farm work is because I didn't know how things work.
Yeah.
And everyone said, there's working hostels, they find work for you, blah, blah, blah. Just go there. I found this place up in North Queensland that grows bananas. And I'm a big believer of, I love bananas.
Yeah.
So I thought, it would be funny to work with bananas. And all of a sudden, you're in a contract for 3 months to pay $170 a week to sleep in a bedroom with 9 other people. So there's 10 people. And this working hostel basically looks like a jail, and you have 120 people living there. So from Friday to Sunday, it's always too much party, too loud, and you have to work on farms under conditions that are, if you come from Europe, like a shock, first of all. It's like 40 degrees, it's very humid, like 80% humidity, and you have to carry the 40, 50, 60 kilograms of banana bunches.
Wow.
And the ground is not level, and there's snakes everywhere, and people are cutting with machetes, and trees are falling down, and some people can't drive the tractor properly in the beginning, so you have to watch them, and your shoulders start hurting, your back starts hurting, and you do that for, if you're lucky, for 5 days, because in the beginning I was on a farm for only 3 days, and I said I need more days because I want to get out of there as quick as possible. Because if you work 3 days, you have to be there basically 5 to 6 months. And you're only making $500 a week, and you have to pay $170 in rent. So I think the first 11 weeks, I didn't save much. Like barely anything.
It's just like a trap. Like, you go in it.
Yeah, it's a backpacker trap.
But I think today is like the whole world, the whole social construction is, the whole social construction It's based on the same trap, trap-based economy. Like
Yeah.
the government wants you to like work, but it gives you certain things, and it again wants you the money, your money back.
Mm.
It's just like same circle round and round, and you can't do anything. Do you believe like did you escape like when you came from like what was the main reason did you came from German?
My main reason was I always wanted to travel.
Mm-hmm.
Since I was 18, I thought I'll leave school and start traveling.
Yeah.
And then I'm hitting 28,
Uh-huh.
and I finished my university degree,
Uh-huh.
and I think, oh, now I could travel, because who knows? If I start a job
Yeah.
and find a woman and get
Get
a
a kid,
house,
yeah.
you're trapped, like
Yeah.
we just said.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be trapped. Like I
Mhm.
could see the funnel just becoming
Mhm.
smaller and smaller, and my only option was to work in an institution or laboratory or whatever.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't want that. I want this life has more to give than just sitting in a nice cubicle,
Yeah.
looking through the window, and you can see the leaves moving, but you
Yeah.
can't feel the wind. You can. The sun is hitting you, but
Yeah.
it's not warming you up with alpha rays. And I said, I don't want my life to pass in front of a window. I want to participate in it.
Mm-hmm.
So you basically make active choices in starting to travel. And since then, so much has changed. And I realized this a lot with what the governments do. They basically tell you there's no other option. This is the only way.
This is the only way.
Everyone makes a choice when we get up in the morning,
Uh-huh.
going to a job that we don't want to do. That's your choice,
Yeah.
If you feel trapped, that's your
Yeah.
choice, because you let someone trap you.
Yeah.
You let someone tell you what to do, and you let someone pay you a certain wage.
So, like, actually, how's the life in German? Like,
Well,
like how are things over there? Like, because to be honest, like for us, German is like Hitler.
Yeah.
That's the only
Yeah.
way. That's the only way we
Yeah.
hear about German. Like,
Yeah.
we don't know any
Yeah.
other any other stories
Yeah.
except Hitler. Right? We just know Hitler is
Yeah.
from Germany. Like one of the. What do you say? Like, how do you see like now? How do you call Hitler in German? Do you call himself like one of the most powerful leader, or like the crucial leadership?
I mean, it's a past. It's a time in history that no one is proud of.
Yeah.
Everyone knows about it. The Germans actually.
You wanna put your mic a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just, can you make it straight? Yeah.
Germans actually,
Yeah.
they get a bit annoyed with it if
Uh.
that topic comes up all the time.
Uh-huh.
Because sometimes you just have to start moving on. Because that happened 80 years ago. There's nearly been 1 or 2 generations in
Yeah.
between that already passed as well.
Yeah.
And of course, German has this social status now.
Uh-huh.
Like with refugees coming in, Germany has
Yeah.
to help. If they
Uh-huh.
don't help, they're Nazis. But
Yeah.
if the French doesn't help, if the Austrians don't help, and the Swiss don't help, it's fine. But if the Germans don't help, they're
not
instantly called, they're against humans. It's still like
Yeah.
back then.
Some kind of like, so it's still like that people like use that ideology against
I mean,
against the German.
It's a very famous figure in
Mhm.
history, one of the most famous ones.
Yeah. And one of the game changer as well.
Yeah, and a lot of eyes are on Germany as well
Yeah.
if they think of Europe, because Germans are, in my opinion,
Yeah.
very efficient, very organized. And because you said, how is life in Germany? And I told your flatmate that everything is so predictable
Yeah.
that you could predict where your grave will be and the day you'll retire and how much cars you will own until then. Like everything is laid out and safe,
Oh.
and you know what's coming.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people need that.
Yeah.
And to me, that was just totally, it would have been a waste of a lifetime. That's why I said I want to, what was the quote in the Lord of the Rings TV show? I left behind what I've known for the unknown.
Just let me Google it. I left behind.
I left behind what I've known for the unknown. I think that's what the Hobbit said. And that sums it up pretty nicely as well. just because it's more exciting. You never know what's gonna happen. Every day is a new day. It's like restarting the game rather than knowing all the whole gameplay.
Yeah, like what do you believe? Like, do you believe experience is a life, or like life is an experience,
Life is an experience.
or like experience is a life in a terms? Like, how do you see it?
Experience in life.
No,
Mm.
do you believe experience is a life, or like life is life is in experience?
You mean experiment
No,
or just
experience.
experience?
Yeah. Do you believe like life is an experience, or as experience is a life? In these are the two options. Like, what do you think you go?
I think you have to experience life.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be life is an experience.
Uh-huh.
Like Alan Watts, this psychologist, said
Uh-huh.
you have to. Life is not about reaching goals because there is no goals.
Yeah.
It's just about experiencing reality, and that's what we
Yeah.
have to do. Being conscious,
Yeah.
what's happening. When I called you, it was a very conscious decision to
Mhm.
call you and exchange my thoughts with you,
Yeah.
put it into words,
Yeah.
because that's all experience that I realize what's happening. And the more often you do it, the more conscious you are, or like
Yeah.
over a certain
Can
time
you
frame.
bend this down? Like, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it will be good for you.
Maybe increase
So,
the volume.
Yeah.
I just talk louder.
No, it's alright, because like there is the volume. The volume I put in a louder, so we hear the monitor in a lot. So, yeah, like, no, because as I already mentioned this thing before, this is my first time doing this in English series. I'm
Yeah.
going in English.
Nah,
and
you're doing really good, man.
really?
Yeah.
Am I talking good?
Yeah.
Okay.
You talk like proper Aussie, mate.
Really? No,
Two foreigners talking about Aussie
No.
English.
No, I work in chicken shop, and I think
Yeah.
that helped me a lot. And
Yeah.
it was in like the northern side, so
Yeah.
it was a lot of white people, and
Yeah.
just like, yes, what can I help you, sir? Like, what can I help
Yeah.
you, mate?
Yeah. And you always get into conversation.
Yeah, and always in conversation, and like, I'm very open person, like, to everyone I talk.
Yeah.
I just need to communicate. I just need to exchange
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
energy.
yeah.
If I didn't get that thing, that I'm gonna just brushed out in myself.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
your
that's
driving force.
yeah, because doing this podcast as well, like, after finishing this podcast, this is like a long process to come out in YouTube, and like there are lots of people involved, lots of time, and lots of money as well. So that's a hectic process, and sometimes I feel like why the fuck, like, I'm doing this,
Yeah.
like, just before today as well, like,
I think the same when I backpack. Like,
Yeah.
why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah.
When I bought the van and
Yeah.
started converting it, I thought, why am I doing this to myself? It's the third time now,
Yeah.
and I knew how it is, but
Yeah.
it's just probably your spirit and your soul telling you
Yeah,
this
but
is where I get energy and meaning from.
yeah, but the moment, like, this is the pure moment of joy and happiness.
Yeah.
Like, as I told, like, how often do you sit down to just have a chat? Like, how often, like, I think this will be the, like, my first and last time, like, that I'll be sitting with like some, like, is you, like, what do you like to call yourself, like a backpacker?
I'm just a traveler. I
Traveler,
would
like,
say,
with a traveler, like, we just like live in the prison, and like just to see the life through your eyes. Like, I don't think like I will be like maybe other Gunay, next time. So this will be my first and maybe the last. I never know, but yeah, we're never gonna sit again.
Yeah.
Just to have this
Who knows,
conversation.
man? Who knows?
Yeah.
We can sit together, not having a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as you said, how many times do we sit down? I try to sit down every day with someone
Uh-huh.
to exchange or process.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's no one that I can actually talk to, I don't talk at all. I'm just by myself in my own mind, because I say it's a waste of time to talk to this person that either doesn't want to listen or doesn't have the same thinking process, which is also totally fine. But if I'm not getting anything out of it, it's a waste of time. So those moments are very precious.
How do you see, like, as a traveler, like, how do you see life, like, because in a life, like, because in this society it is believed like to be a, you have to be a successful, you have to get a wife, you have to get babies, you have to get a house, have cars, you have to they do the big events, celebration, this is the whole the societal concept of the what life should be. But you as a traveler, you just like live the day to day. You just make money today, to eat tonight, and probably put the fuel for tomorrow. Am I right?
Yeah. I think I do it a bit different compared to most travelers. I do it very strategically. To me, life is like a chess game. And just answering the first part first, you divide life into society, economy, politics, and whatever is there. And if you view society as a social construct, how do I put it into words? Because there's a bigger story behind it. If you live in society, you kind of agree to the social contract that exists. I get taken care of by the government. I get protected from all the dangers that are out there. There's actually not a lot of dangers out there. And in exchange, I have to pay taxes. And with taxes, you quickly go into the economical part. To me, it's just insane how much is being taken. And it's still like back in the day with monarchies, where we used to give shares of our crop to the castle so they can protect us, because they would keep saying there is danger out there, danger out there. So you go into danger, which is a political issue, and they're using politics to divide. They are inducing fear into a lot of people. And cities like Sydney, for example, I'm not staying in the city for a long time. I just come to the city to work, and when I saved up enough, I'm leaving again. And it's like going into the system and jumping out of it again. And I just use it to my benefit as much as possible. And when I realize the system is trying to put its claws around me, I pull myself back and I leave. And that can even be when I realize that I'm starting to get too greedy, money. I just stop at one point and I say, all right, I saved whatever, 10 grand in 2 months. I'm out of here. I don't need more. 10 grand can get me 6 months best life, or 10 months in a very minimalistic lifestyle.
Yeah.
And there's just things that I see if you stay more or less in nature, because I believe that's where humans belong. If you, like, we met next to the beach. Everyone was so relaxed and different on the beach.
Yeah.
But if you go into the city, everyone is so stressed.
So rushed. How often do you go to train stations?
Train stations?
Yeah.
Very rarely. I don't like them.
I used to work at a Bondi before, and I have to catch the train at 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
And in the town hall, in the morning 5, like, everyone is like sleepy. The trains are full and the rush. Like, I hate that place. I hate like the morning trains, and at that time there comes a feeling like, what is this all for? Where are we going? Just like every day this the same story, like, just like it's just like all like fixed things, rotation, circle, there is all on 5 a.m. You just go there's a like huge mass of people, chunks of people just there. Are we really know this is the like that all you wanted, or like we are? I think there is like two options. Either you accept it, like everyone is going through the same way. Yeah, this is the life. Just accept it. Or like there is other option. No, I don't want to get in this trap.
No.
Right?
And I would say go with the second option at any given moment, because as I told you before this podcast, it's your active choice to participate in the rat race, and there's ways out of it, and it's actually way cheaper than most people think. There's so much stuff that falls away all of a sudden. Every week you have to pay your rent, your phone bill, your whatever's in. I don't even know what's involved in it because I didn't even pay rent this year once because I don't want to waste my money on rent. Those $300 or whatever, it's so much money, man. I can travel for 2 weeks for $300 rather than going into a place to sleep. Of course, it brings convenience with it. So you have to be okay with cutting out convenience of having tap water running out of your tap when you turn it on, electricity. But society or government basically tells you if you want to have comfort, you have to pay for it. And you're not paying with it with money. You're paying with it with your lifetime. Because you get on this train 5 in the morning, you have to get up and like right now as a painter, I'm probably wasting 2-3 hours just to go to the job site and come back. And I'm thinking about telling the guy that I just want the jobs that are in my area because I'm wasting too much lifetime. I can use this time more wisely than sitting in my car going through the traffic and watching people like go crazy. And everyone is trying to push in, you know, I have to be there first. And it's the energy is not nice, man. It's a very disturbed energy. And people, they know that it won't stop, but they don't want to face it. And I think that's where it all starts when we are really honest to ourselves and say, what am I doing with my life? I have to change something.
I think now, everyone gets that inner calling, you know. Sometimes inner calling, and just as we already said, like there comes two options. Either you accept, like, you know, you see around, you move your head around, and you see everyone is doing the same. Oh no, this is the part. This is what life should be. It is what it is. Accept it. Listen the inner calling, or listen the inner calling, and say, no, like this is not what I wanted to be. This is not where I wanted to go. You know, when you see the people around, and like, what is all this for? You know,
because they measure success by how much money is on their account. They don't measure success in form of happiness. They think materialism brings me happiness, but it stops at one point, and then I have to buy the next thing to be happy again, and the next thing, and that links it back to a drug. To me, consuming, consumption, and materialism is probably one of the strongest drugs next to coffee and sugar. And those are the things that we don't realize, you know. We don't really pay attention to it, but as soon as someone has the feeling they can get more, it doesn't stop, you know. Greed starts eating your brain. And most of the times when I meet people, because I meet a lot of different characters, I met people that have like $500 million on their account, and they say it's not about the money. I met people that had it all and they lost it all, and they said it was totally not worth it. And then there's people that go well with it, you know, they have good sleep on good mattresses and clean drinking water and good jobs and not much stress. They don't want to leave that comfort zone. But if I realize I'm getting too comfortable, I want to leave that comfort zone.
Why?
Because you can only, I mean, those are things that being said all the time. You can only grow out of your comfort zone. If you would sit on this couch right now just staring at your phone, you wouldn't grow. If I would just go home and watch YouTube, depends what I'm watching. But you wouldn't grow with me having a podcast for the second time, actually, and you talking to someone like a traveler, you know, never interviewed before. And you made this whole rush of picking your videographer out, you know. There's such a process involved, but at the end of the day, you're proud because you went through the suffering, and you're rewarded with having this conversation. Because you like to communicate.
Very, 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 very beautifully said.
Thanks.
Thank you. Like, so, because the conversation that we had on that morning on the beach is like very like profoundly overwhelming, because no one gives a like shit about like what or anything, you know, because whatever you say, you just smile, you just nod your head, that's it.
Yeah.
But we had a very good chat. Like we had over the like
Mm.
we had about the cultural thing, the cultural differences, like, and we had like this whole perspective on the life. All right.
Mm.
What do you believe? What matters at the end of the day?
And end of the day, what matters actually is that you're healthy, that you worked on yourself,
Mm-hmm.
personal development, and I'm saying this out of my perspective,
Mhm.
and living a more meaningful life that follows a bit more virtuous,
Mhm.
like be honest, be kind, be helpful, and trying to make the world a better place one day at a time. That's what I try to do. It sounds maybe romantic. And people say, oh, that's what everyone does.
Yeah.
But I always try to do the right thing, which is not easy because sometimes you really have to tell people off, and no one likes to be mean to other people.
Mhm.
But it's also about your own boundaries. But just quickly coming back when you say, why am I doing this to myself? Evolutionary suffering is necessary to induce change. If you don't suffer, you'll never change.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people, that just sit on the couch.
Yeah.
There's no suffering, but there's no change at the same time. And you would think, man, you'll be like this in 30 years, and 40 years, and 50 years, and everything around you will change, but you won't change, or you won't change your habits. So get your ass up and do something, because if you look back, you say, all right, it was hard, but there was so much that I got out of it, experience-wise, skill-wise, and things that you can be proud of,
I guess let's land this podcast. How did you feel it? Like, I think like for me, like, cause it was my very first English podcast. So, cause if like due to maybe like, cause it's my second language, right? And if it was my first language, like I would be like, my sense of humor would be more active. Like I could hit more jokes on it, but because it was like more over English, so it went like kind of a very formal. I couldn't make many jokes.
Maybe it was my German side as well.
Yeah, because it's still like we both had the cultural differences, so.
Yeah, it depends how you see it. I think we're quite similar. We both like to talk. You had really good questions.
Really? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. And we were following each other's thoughts as well.
Yeah.
Which is very important. But don't worry about the English, man. It's like totally fine. There's a lot of people that just speak English, and they always say, for example, to me, oh, you have an accent. And I'm like, yeah, what is that? Oh, it sounds like a German accent. Say, yeah, you have an English accent or Aussie accent. Yeah, but I mean, your English is not that good. And sometimes I tell them, well, if you speak 4 languages, it's very hard to speak every language 100%. You probably don't even speak your own language properly.
Because at the end, just you just what it's just a language. You just communicate. It's just a matter of communication.
Yeah.
If we communicate, sometimes we communicate, but even if we're talking the same language, we couldn't communicate, right? But at the end of the day, what matters is the communication. We had a very good communication. I think we created a stories. Maybe like my friend. Maybe my videographer, he's the one who's gonna listen all the clips, all the audio, and he's gonna just put rewind and forward. So thank you, Gunay.
Yeah, no worries, man.
So there's my friend
really
over there. Yeah.
it.
So see, she's the girlfriend of my other friend, and his name is Binay. He would be happy. He would be happy to meet her, like Binay Gunay. Oh, that sounds good, right?
Close.
Yeah, like
So what does it mean, Binay?
Binay. I don't know. He's like you guys, because I wanted him to meet you because you guys have same kind of personality trait, and he also like believes in like this. What is this life for? Like when he also don't want to like bigger thing. He just want to like just enjoy it. He just want to be the universe. Like he doesn't want anything. He's very chill. He just want to sleep, wake up, do some. Make some money to eat for tonight and tomorrow, just to enjoy.
I mean, I'm also following the bigger goals, but I'm enjoying it more.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the process along it.
So,
but yeah, in the end, how do you measure the bigger things? Having a bus or having a little car?
Maybe having this podcast done with the Guinea, I think that's the
Yeah,
bigger thing for
it will
me.
be one of my memorable moments from those travels. I'll put it in my travel journey. So this has more meaning than some other things.
All right. Thank you again. It means a lot, and I hope this podcast and because we did it in a very last moment, and I'm flying to Nepal and the day after tomorrow, and in a very busy schedule, like Guinea, like he he just managed to sort up as well. At the end of the day, he also had a very rushed, long day, and
yeah, Sydney is very big
yeah,
to
this
drive.
is this podcast is very different than this is very unusual for my because for my people. Because otherwise, I was just laughing around and with the
They're
other
gonna
folks.
be like, man, this
Well,
guy's still from Hitlerland.
Yeah, like what the fuck actually they're talking about this? Because we're just talking we're just smoking and having some weed and talking the other lives and deeper shades, And you also got the deeper boys, the happy boys, and I also I'm being the same. Maybe someone gonna listen in the
Sorry guys, next time we'll have more fun.
Yeah,
Sometimes
but
you have to be serious.
yeah, but I'll make sure did you completed your band
Nah, I'm still
How's
building it on the weekends.
on the
I
weekends?
have to kick my ass on the
Alright.
weekends. as
So
well.
probably Gunay is the inspiration for me to get in a van to live a van lifestyle.
Yeah.
Maybe by next year I want to keep that try. So I'll show you up in my stories how is the Guinness van look like now. We'll follow up the Guinness van as well.
Yeah.
Till then, guys, this is the Action with Adit and Gunay. That's all for tonight. It's a wrap, guys. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, bro.
Thanks, man.
100%.
Thanks. Really appreciate it. Do you mean it?
I have to say it like someone's holding a gun to my face.
All right.